Hello there, this is the Handshake. I'm Lynn Komjisha, and with me is Paul Busherizi. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Africa in general is given 60 billion US dollars in form of government assistance, investment, and financing by finance institutions and companies. People are saying this is a new form of colonization.
Well, I don't know where to start. But what is true is that over the last 10 years or so, since the 2000, China has stepped up its engagement with Africa in terms of investment and financing of projects and things like that, to the point that in Uganda alone now we're talking of investments of about $4.5 billion, which is probably one of the highest of any. This is aside from financing projects like the dams and the roads. You talk about investment by the Chinese businessmen. So yeah, so it's really grown significantly. They're a very important part of our economy.
Yeah, true. Somebody says it's a new colonizer. Other economists and international financial institutions claim this is a debt trap diplomacy. Yeah.
Well, you know, first of all, I think what can be said is that Chinese financing, a lot of it is going into investments in infrastructure. So these are things that will generate more economic activity. Have you been on the Entebbe Expressway?
Oh, yes.
I've just seen it in pictures. It now takes, you've just seen it in pictures, you need to get on it. It now probably takes about 20 minutes to get to Entebbe if like from Nyonyo. That's 20 minutes. 20 if you're driving. Not speeding, not 80 kilometers per hour. You get there in about 20 minutes or so, just under 30 minutes. And that is a facilitator of economic activity. True. The faster things move in an economy, the more economic activity can be generated. We are just about, I think they've just opened up bids for people to build the Ginger Expressway, which is actually, I've always wondered why we didn't start with Ginger Expressway, because that's where most of our business flows. But anyway, it's probably just a question of sequencing. But those infrastructure things, and they generate more economic activity. So you see, people talk about a death. The analysis I've seen, which is really strange, is that they talk about a death trap, as if we'll be paying debt of our current economic activity. But these things, these infrastructure projects like the power dams, they increase economic activity, which is taxed, and therefore it kind of pays itself. It's easier to pay than is suggested by most people.
True.
Of course, the concern is that maybe these projects are, padded with corruption and all that kind of thing. Well, which projects haven't? Even when our regular traditional development partners were doing their whatever projects, it was always that. I mean, look at the Northern Bypass. And that thing has been built for the last 20 years.
It's still being built.
Yeah, it's still being built, and we know that there was a lot of padding of that. So I think the question for us is, what are we taking the money for?
Yes.
And are we getting the output? So are you getting a road? Do you pay for a road, and do you get a road of quality or good value? That's the questions we should be asking.
So where does this where are the let me say,
and let me even add one. You talked about colonization. So what happens in several cases? For example, in Sri Lanka, China took over a port because they failed to pay. There are concerns about Djibouti, where the debt to China is up to about 85% of GDP and all that, and there's a danger that there's a port there which the Chinese are developing. They could end up controlling it as well. But you look back to the other development partners.
Yes.
They even went even further than these guys. Are just taking physical things. These guys came. They reconstructed your economy. They rejigged the economy to suit themselves. They caused policies that would give companies and all sorts of things to themselves. I mean, please let's. And you agree that you're not amused that you're being kicked, you're not in the game anymore.
Well, I'm glad that.
Don't be as if you're wailing more than the bereaved, who are us.
I know. I'm glad Xi Jinping insists there's no political strings It's just strictly investment.
Well, you know, the Chinese are not doing this out of charity. They're Bambi, poor Africans, you need help.
Yeah.
No, they're not doing. They have legitimate concerns of their own, and how they see the world developing and their place in it, and how they can be more relevant in the world.
Exactly.
In the world, now. How different is it from what we were used to? I mean, please, guys, just
they should just, you know, take a seat and watch
chill.
us grow.
Absolutely. I mean,
so, yes, we are bound to. I know you have a lot to tell us about, but you seem very passionate about.
Don't get me started about this whole circus.
So we should be excited. This is really good news for us.
Well, again, now, so that is their side of the story. On our side of the story, we've got to make sure that we borrow money, or we get, let's say, because the main concern seems to be financing of projects. We get projects that will, as we said earlier, make business easier to do for everyone, locals and foreigners. So we don't want to be borrowing money to be buying perfumes or wines or spirits and that kind of stuff. That's not what we want money for. Build us a road, build us a dam, build us a railway, do our telecoms, put up an industry, that kind of thing. That's what we need to insist on, and yeah, hopefully we should be fine. We survived the other guys, we should be able to survive these guys.
I don't know what that is going to be, an economic war or something, but...
But who? Between them?
Between them.
Yeah, but you know, they say when two elephants fight.
And we are the grass.
Absolutely.
But it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
To be the grass?
No, not to be the grass, of course. to gain something from these people.
Absolutely.
And because they are interested. I think, well, it's something Paul and I seem to be passionate about. We'll talk about more maybe later.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.